It's Easter week, or Holy Week as it's sometimes called, and I wanted to take this time to think about Jesus and what he did for me dying on the cross. And I haven't really had much headspace to do this, so I decided to start with some journaling, some writing, and I'm just doing this on a scrap bit of paper. I think it's the back of a paper bag or something like this. And I'm starting my writing with the words of the hymn, "When I survey the wondrous cross on which the Prince of Glory died, my richest gain I count but loss, and pour contempt on all my pride." So that was my starting point for my journaling, and I just kept writing my thoughts on from there. So what about you? What do you think of when you think of the cross and what Jesus did for us? You might like to start your journaling in a similar way and just to write out a stream of consciousness about how your heart is responding to the cross right now. So if we haven't met before, my name is Jenna Byrne, and I like to use mixed media art journaling, a sort of combination of art and writing and words as a way to pray and talk to God. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, then hit that subscribe button now, and that will keep you notified about future videos. So I filled that page up with writing, and now I'm working in my art journal on a background. And I'm using Neocolor 2 crayons. They are a type of water-soluble crayon. And as you can see, I'm being quite messy and random, but this circle represents the world, and that God loved the world so much that he sent his only son, Jesus Christ, to die as a sacrifice for our sin, for my sin, that we would be able to be brought back into relationship with God. And even more than that, that the whole world would be put back together again. I'm writing here, "making all things new," which is a quote from the book of Revelation in the Bible. So what Jesus did on the cross didn't just fix things for me, but all the things that went wrong in the world at the fall, at the beginning, when Adam and Eve messed up, are put right again in Jesus. And I'm drawing some little people here because it's the whole world and all the people in it. So I'm getting out my watercolour paints now and mixing up some crimson red, and I'm going to use that to paint over what I've already done in the background. And because the Neocolor crayons are water soluble, putting watercolour or anything wet on them is going to activate them and turn them into a kind of paint as well. So we've got the red colour, which is also mixing with the other colours that I've already put on the page. And this is going to create a bit of a grungy mess, really, which is how the world found itself before Jesus came along. Well, how the world still finds itself in many ways. But the idea of putting this red wash over the top is to symbolise the blood of Jesus that is covering up all of that mess that we have made of the world. And so I just keep going. I don't kind of scrub at the background because I want some of that texture to still be visible underneath. I'm kind of adding it in patches, in little stripes. And as you can see, I'm also tilting the page and letting some of the paint just drip down the page as well. And I'm still thinking about the words of that hymn that I started with, the verse that talks about sorrow and love flow mingled down. And I've got those lyrics in my head as I'm watching the drips just wash down the page. So you can wait for this background to dry, or you could use a hairdryer to dry it, as I did. And then retrieving the original sheet of journaling, I cut out a cross shape from this. You can sketch this out first with a pencil if you like, and then cut it out with a pair of scissors. And this gave me another opportunity to review what I'd written, specifically what words were left on the cross after I'd cut out that shape. And here I am just underlining and circling any words that seem significant to me. And that's one of the things I love about art journaling, is the chance to meditate and remeditate on the same theme, on the same words, as you come back to them on the page. And now I am sticking my cross on the page. I'm using some gel medium to do this, but you could just use a glue stick of some kind. I just used what I had handy. And for the final stage of this journaling page, I wrote a poem. And in a recent course that I've done, we learned about a format of poetry called a Cinquain. I think it comes from cinq, being the French word for 5. So it's a 5-line poem in quite a strict structure. But they're really fun and easy to do. So the first line is a noun, and I've chosen the word cross. This is kind of like the title of your poem. The second line is 2 adjectives to describe the noun, so 2 describing words. And the third line is 3 verbs to describe what that noun is doing. So these are the ing words ending in ing, so 3 of those. Then the next line is 4 words, so a sentence that describes what's going on. And the 5th line is just 1 word and another noun, and that noun is the same word as you started with, just putting it in a different way, perhaps not quite so literal, like a kind of metaphor for what your poem's about. That sounds more complicated than it is. I will do some sort of sheet for you, cheat sheet, so you can have a go at writing your own Cinquain poem. Perhaps you could use some of the words that stood out for you from your original journaling on the cross, some of the things that you've underlined as a starting point for your poem. You don't have to start with the word cross, you could start with the word Jesus or lamb or sacrifice, or you could start with any word there at the beginning that will help you ponder what Easter is all about. So my little poem went like this: cross, torturous, wondrous, eclipsing, shaking, remaking, reaching for my soul, love. I'd love to hear your Cinquains. You can stick them in the comments below if you like. And I hope this has inspired you to do some of your own journaling this Easter. Okay, God bless everyone. See you soon.